I literally just got off a call with a client and I'm doing this video, which is why my hair is not washed. It's great, but we just talked about something really important and I'm actually just going to give you basically like all the insider knowledge to what we just spoke about. I have asked her and she's totally fine with this, by the way. I'm not going to name names and you won't know who she is, but I said, I think what we spoke about in our session was really valuable. Can I share it on my YouTube channel? She said, babe, do it. Get that shared. So here we are, and it's all about storytelling and the irony of me coming on here to storytell, very meta, and talking about the importance of it. But I think it's something that unless we get crystal clear on how to show up and tell our story, it is literally going to stunt our development within our business, our personal life. Everything will feel a little bit out of alignment. And I say this with love. I need you to know that I say this with love because I have literally been that person who didn't want to share certain things on my journey. So let's just leave all that. We have no judgment, okay? We listen, we don't judge, as the TikTok trend said. And we kind of go through this with fresh eyes, fresh ideas. I'm gonna try not mess with my hair, but it's probably got one more day in it, and normally I would never YouTube like that, but I feel like we know each other more now and it's fine and we're connecting and you don't judge me for what my hair looks like. You're here for the knowledge. So let me just get on with that. So the first thing to always think about when you are really thinking about storytelling is that humans buy through emotion. And I need to feel an emotional connection to you if I'm going to invest in you and if I'm going to want to work with you. So when I choose to work with a coach, yes, it's their credibility and can they solve the exact problem that I have? Sure, fine, great. But it's so much more than that. It's, am I going to be able to show you my real vulnerable side and how I'm feeling right now? And when I feel like I'm failing or things aren't going well, and you're going to be able to understand and be able to help and guide me. And I think that's the piece. And more often than not, especially in this digital world, we're actually all really looking for connection. And so you have this amazing story to tell and you have this wealth of knowledge and life experience. And what we need to do is create the strategy around it to be able to tell it. Your story is your strategy. There's nothing else in it. I talk about my 3-step process is self-belief, strategy, and success. And often people go, oh, strategy, okay, right. We're going to need like a 6-month plan and I'm going to have to think of this brand new thing. And before they know it, they've worked with me for a couple of months and I've curated a strategy based on everything they've told me, and they haven't had to think of anything different because I actively listen to what people have to say and understand the unique zone of genius within the story. And I think that's really, really overlooked. So especially if you're training new in something, maybe you've stumbled on this and you're looking to work with a coach or even become a coach, and you're thinking, I have nothing to offer. You know, I've worked in tech for 15 years. Now I want to change and do this. That's your zone of genius. All that knowledge that no other coach is going to have from you doing that, that's your zone of genius. So don't overlook what things have happened in the past. Your story is your strategy. But we need to really, really think about how we tell it and learn a way to share it. Guys, if I can give you one piece of advice for 2025, it is get booked on podcasts. Get booked on as many podcasts as you can. YouTube interviews, go live on Instagram with people, show up and tell your story because people will relate so much more to you. Share a moment of truth. Even talk about the process of getting booked onto a podcast, or if you have your own podcast, you know, booking an incredible guest that you didn't think you'd be able to get on there. Like, tell that story. I remember I booked Sarah Knight, who is the author of the most incredible, the life-changing magic of not giving a fuck, and like all of those books. And I remember, you know, emailing her publisher and thinking, oh God, like I don't got her books on the podcast. She blew me away. And I told the whole story around that and got everyone so hyped about it before because I wanted them to come on the journey with me of literally, I've just emailed a publisher and they've said yes. And she's one of my, like I have this small kind of list of, there's about 50 people on there who are like dream guests. Like I would be blessed and honoured for them to come on my podcast, and she was one of them. And so I told that story, and that in itself drew people in, and they wanted to hear the episode and they wanted to see how I felt afterwards. Because really, when you think about it, storytelling comes down to creating 3 key elements, right? So you've got to be really relatable and share the things that you fail in. God, I've had so many failures and made terrible decisions in both my personal and professional life. More on that in another episode. But I think people want to feel seen and heard, and they want to feel validated for things they've gone through. They don't just want the finished product. You know, they don't just want to see like, here's this new brand for sale. Okay, great. What's the story? Oh, the founder's a massive influencer. Okay, cool. Well, they've got this huge platform. But that influencer, she took years to build that and curate that platform and create a community. What did she share? She'll have shared her ups and downs, like delve into her story and you go, oh my God, like I went through an awful breakup, you know, many years in my 20s, and it was horrendous, and I felt like the world was ending, and she went through that too, and I can understand that, and she understands me, and she's made herself relatable, and I want to see how she developed and she grew off the back of that. Can feel incredible. So element one is always relatability. My personal preference and the biggest takeaway is you've got to show perspective in storytelling. So what have you learned now and you believe differently? What did you learn from? How have you evolved? How has your perspective in life changed? I am not the person I was in my 20s when I was working in media, hustling. I was a little gremlin, you know, and yes, I have that scrappiness in me. I'm a northern girl, but it's much more refined and it comes from a different place. You know, I would look at, and I'm so proud of who she was. She did amazing at her job, you know, when I worked in media, but like, I'm definitely not that person. And I think we all grow up and we all change and we evolve, but my perspective has changed. But what I learned from that is, you know, I learned how to pitch. I was taught from the best people. My CEO was Mike Suter, who, if you watch The Apprentice, he's one of the guys who does the interviews at the end. Like, I literally learned from some of the best people in the industry. And because of that, my level of knowledge and my way to pitch and speak to brands gives me an edge. And that's now what I share with many coaches, and we get them there, and it's incredible. But showing your perspective is amazing. So relatability, perspective, and then you need an invitation. So what is possible for them? Get them to imagine how amazing it would be to be in this space with you. That I want you to tell this story, and I want to be, I'm on the edge of my seat, okay? Tell me more. Like, tell me more of what you have to say. I'm here. Oh my God, yeah, I could do that too, you know, babe. Me and you, we could do this together. That's what I want to feel. Like, we've all had rejection, right, professionally, and it's rubbish. Maybe you've pitched got an amazing podcast and you get, well, probably ignored most of the time. Or, you know, worse than that, you get rejected. But what did you learn? What was the lesson? What did you then go away, rebuild, re-pitch and rebook all the re's and get on something? You know, did you then think, oh my God, that was my redirection to then push me? Yes, they were right. I had to delve more into my story. Off the back of that, I'm writing a book. I'm bringing out a podcast. Like, storytelling is so overlooked. I'm actually this is a small flex. I don't know how I'm in this. The Meta creators like exclusive community in the UK, honestly, like, I genuinely don't know how I got, it's invite only, and I don't know how I got invited to it. But isn't it funny that short form content app, all they're talking about to us is storytelling? Funny, the TikTokification of everything, and creating longer video, longer form content, tell your story, draw people in. They are seeing the value in that more than just a curated feed. There's so much more that the savvy consumer wants now. And that goes with everything in service or product. And I think it's really, really important to talk about that. So a few things to avoid, I guess, I wanted to put in as well, just because it's not all about do this, do this, do this. This might help with a little bit, is, you know, if we're oversharing but we have no direction, it just immediately loses the rapport, loses the focus of what we were talking about. We may have, you know, built up this beautiful story, we're ready for the crescendo, and if you're anything like me, you go off on a tangent, and then you've kind of lost the people. So making sure that if you are oversharing on certain, you know, telling little anecdotes, which I think are perfect for storytelling. Oh my God, like, get to know the person behind the scenes and how much they care. Like, for me, I hope it comes across that I genuinely care about people. I wouldn't be filming and putting out free content every week if I didn't care. Like, some people may never be able to afford to invest. That's fine. Like, I hope I can help you anyway. And so for me, telling little stories about how much I care or things that have happened, it has relatability, but it has to have some direction. Now, again, this is a lesson for me, because I will watch back this video, cringe, hate what I look like, all of those things, but we're still putting it out, is waiting till it's perfect. Guys, I am terrible for that, honestly. But actually, there's a story in that. Like, I used to wait till everything looked perfect, for fear of judgment, for fear of what people might say. I mean, honestly, even a year ago, I would not have gone on like YouTube without washed hair. Like, this is, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's brushed, if you believe that, but waiting until it's perfect. And then also, you know, when we are telling our own story, it is really important to give anecdotes, but remembering it's not actually about us. We're telling a story to get people to understand that it's possible for them. And so I think if we try to tie it back to the person and put them in the seat of, you know, I'm sat with you and we're having a coffee together and I'm telling you this story, but I'm telling you this story because it's going to have an amazing effect on your life. That's the piece. That's the beauty. And that is the absolute magic in storytelling. And again, like, it's really overlooked. And I'm really, really excited to be able to kind of share more of this and hope that it pulls you in and draws you in. I want to be taking you more behind the scenes. I want to share small anecdotes. Like, this came off the back of a client call, and I thought this was really important to share. And my client like happily gave permission to share this. And I think it's really valuable to think. So you have those three elements of relatability, perspective, and an invitation, and kind of avoid like oversharing with no direction, waiting until it's perfect, and then making it too much about us. So I hope that helps. I'm going to put in the show notes below my invitation to work with me, kind of just find out a little bit more about me, drop me a DM, just be like, I've come through from YouTube and I want to send you a personalised voice note. I think they are so powerful. If you're a small business owner, you're a coach, you're wanting to kind of really start like, this is my year where I want to get booked and visible, I got you. If you're like, I'm a coach and I don't know what my zone of genius is and I literally am just kind of a mindset coach doing mindset things or whatever, I've got you. I will help you. So if you are, drop me a DM. Say I've come in from YouTube. I'm going to look over your profile. I'm going to send you a personalized voice note and we can go from there. There's no, I need you to sign up, or, you know, you must like give me minimum 6 months of your time. No. If the vibe's great and you want to work together at some point, fantastic. If not, don't worry. You're my YouTube family. You mean so much to me. We are small but mighty right now. And it would also mean the world to me to like and subscribe this video. Drop me a comment below if you like this kind of live client feedback. I'd quite like to do maybe a series on this of like client calls I've had and how valuable they are. And we can go from there. I know I seem to film a lot in here, but honestly, this is something I do in addition to my job. I'm not a full-time content creator. I would love to do more vlog style things, definitely, if I can find the time, but honestly, they're really time consuming. And most people who do those, that is just their job. Not just in any way, it's a huge job, but I kind of serve my clients all day and then I'm trying to scramble and do content as well. So thank you for your patience with me and I hope you are enjoying this, and please feedback below kind of anything that you, any advice you have or anything you want to see more of. Maybe you've got a question, but don't miss out on the opportunity to DM me and get that personalized voice note, because this is the year that we are going to thrive. 2025, we are thriving. All right, my darlings. And I hope you're enjoying a Monday upload. I'm loving it, actually. It feels really productive to start the week. So yeah, thank you so much. See you next week.